King Sports is back. What's up, y'all? King Sports here with another video. Today's video is going to be my mock draft part 2. My second mock draft. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. It is free. And don't forget to go follow the Twitter. It has all juicy content of nothing but NFL, the free agency, trade rumors, trades. Yeah, that's about it. There's a lot of juicy stuff on my Twitter, so go follow it. With that being said, we had a massive trade yesterday with involving the draft. So let's get into that. So the Saints received from the Eagles number 16th, number 19th, and number 194 pick, the 6th round pick from the Eagles. And then the Eagles received from the Saints number 18th pick, number 101 3rd round, number 237 7th round pick, a 2023 first round pick next year, and a 2024 second round pick. So now the Saints have number 16th and number 19th in the first round. The Eagles have number 15th and number 18th in the first round. With that being said, let's go to my number 1. Not a lot's changed with some of these. There are some changes. But my number 1 is still Aiden Hutchinson. I still think this is guaranteed going to be the first pick of this year's draft. With that being said, let's hit up number 2. Number 2 is still Travon Walker, edge out of Georgia. There are still talks that they could go quarterback, but my opinion is, if they want to go quarterback, they could. They have this the number 2nd pick, number 32nd pick from the Rams, and then day 2 they have the 2nd pick of the 2nd round, so they can go quarterback there. So whichever quarterbacks are still available, they can go there and go get their quarterback if they choose to get a quarterback. So I think they'll be if they're smart, they'll pick like the edge right now and like build the defense before they go get a quarterback, because they can still get a quarterback at round 2. With that being said, let's get number 3. Number 3 is the Houston Texans selecting Kayvon Thibodeaux, edge Oregon. They're just trying to find their next Jadeveon Clowney. So they're going to get him with this pick. Yeah, he's been dropping a little bit in some people's mock draft, but honestly, I don't think he's going to drop as far as people think he is. I think the Texans might snag him here with the 3rd pick, or they might go tackle. I have them picking edge here. With that being said, let's get to number 4. Number 4 is New York Jets selecting Ahmad Gardner, cornerback, Cincinnati. By far the best cornerback in the class. And apparently, due to his Twitter the other day, you would have seen that if you follow me on Twitter. I retweeted it. He said he's the best player in this NFL, or not NFL, this, this class. So he thinks he's the best. So the New York Jets go snag him there. With that being said, number 5, we do have a trade. I have the Saints trading number 16th, the one that they just got from the Eagles in the trade yesterday, number 49th this year, and a third rounder next year for the number 5th spot, and the Saints select their next franchise quarterback, Malik Willis. So they jump ahead of Carolina, who's been eyeballing Malik Willis, because the Panthers need their next franchise quarterback. So with that being said, the Saints jump them to select their next franchise quarterback. And if this happened, I would like this move a lot, because the Giants already said they're willing to trade down from this spot, and I don't know if it would happen, but I think this move will be smart. But with that being said, let's go to number 6. Number 6 is Carolina, selecting Kenny Pickett, quarterback out of Pittsburgh. Carolina, most of their coaches and scouting was at every pro day of Kenny Pickett, and I thought a couple weeks ago he was my top quarterback landing with Carolina, and then they said something about that they were actually in on Malik Willis as well. So as my number 1 quarterback, Malik Willis, I had Carolina picking Malik Willis, but Saints jump him to select Malik Willis. So with that being said, Carolina is in need of a quarterback, so they pick their next franchise quarterback, Kenny Pickett here. Who knows if they run with Pickett at week number 1. They could do what Cleveland did a couple years ago with Baker. They could be playing Sam Darnold now, and then if Sam Darnold's doing crappy like he always does, they could pull him and put Kenny Pickett in, and Kenny Pickett can come out there and save the day. Or they just might start him right away. Who knows? We'll just have to wait and find out. With that being said, number 7 is the New York Giants select Evan Neal, tackle, Alabama. See, with that trade with the Saints, they still get their tackle that they need in Evan Neal out of Alabama. So this is a perfect pick right here. So we'll just have to wait and see what pick that they pick in number 16 and what's still available. But with that being said, number 8 is Atlanta Falcons selecting Drake London, wide receiver, USC. They go Drake London because they think Drake London is going to be their next franchise wide receiver, because we all know what happened to Calvin Ridley with being suspended for the whole year from betting on games last year. So he is banned. I shouldn't say banned, but he's suspended for the whole year. So, and then when he comes back, he might get traded anyway, if he ever comes back. So that's where Atlanta picks a wide receiver, Drake London out of USC, because they're in need of a wide receiver. Because honestly, I can't name a wide receiver that's on Atlanta's team besides their running back slash wide receiver in Patterson. So with that being said, number 9, Seattle Seahawks selects their tackle, Charles Cross, Mississippi State. Pete Carroll already said they're trying to work around Drew Lock, and that they like Drew Lock a lot when he was coming out in the draft. But he ended up getting selected by Denver, who later on, a couple years, traded Drew Lock to the Seattle Seahawks. So now they're trying to work around him. Don't know why, because, I don't think Drew Lock can do anything there either. We'll see. If he does, I'll be shocked. But with that being said, number 10. Number 10 is still my selection here for my last mock draft. Is the Jets traded their number 10th pick to the Chiefs for their 29th pick and their 50th and a third rounder next year. And then the Kansas City Chiefs selects their next franchise wide receiver, Garrett Wilson, because they traded Tyreek Hill a couple weeks ago to the Miami Dolphins. So they now need a wide receiver, a number 1 wide receiver. They can bring him in and put beside Juju, MVS, Marquez Valdes-Scantling. Cannot pronounce his name right ever. Or they still have tight end Travis Kelce. So I think this will be a good pick here, because if Juju is, being stupid and doing TikToks in the locker room during practice and not knowing what's going on, Garrett Wilson is here to help them. And I really like this pick because Juju signed a 1-year deal. So if they let Juju go, they have Garrett Wilson. So with that being said, number 11, I got the Washington Commanders selecting safety Kyle Hamilton out of Notre Dame. He dropped a little bit because of other teams' needs. So Washington's like, we're not going to let him drop any farther. So they select their safety Kyle Hamilton to beef up their defense. Even though people were thinking they're going to go wide receiver, they can't pass on Kyle Hamilton, as people thinking he's the best player in this draft class. With that being said, number 12 is Miami. I said Miami. Oh my goodness. Minnesota Vikings selecting Trent McDuffie, cornerback, Washington. I can't speak today. I apologize for that. But they need a cornerback, and they go with Trent McDuffie, cornerback, Washington. People was thinking they're going to go Derek Stingley Jr., but with his injury, people are scared that he's not going to be ready to compete. So they pick their player who's ready to compete, and Trent McDuffie. And I think Trent McDuffie will fit perfectly fine with the Vikings. With that being said, number 13, the Houston Texans still selects their tackle, Ikwonu, out of North Carolina State. So they select Kayvon Thibodeau and tackle North Carolina State. So if this happens, I think the Texans gets a really good draft in the first round. Because they are trying to work around Davis Mills, the quarterback that they think is going to be the quarterback of the future. That being said, number 14 is the Baltimore Ravens still selects Devontae Wyatt out of Georgia. Yeah, I don't know. They're just trying to work on their defensive line and trying to get better. Hopefully, they get some milk or something. So next year, in the middle and the first week of NFL season, they don't have all the injuries like they did last year. So that being said, number 15. Number 15, I got the Philadelphia Eagles selecting Chris Olave, wide receiver at Ohio State. Philly definitely needs another wide receiver because Jalen Reagor is not it. And Smith, he can't do all the work because sooner or later he's gonna be being double covered. Even if he isn't already, he's going to be double covered. So they get their next other wide receiver right here on the other side of Smith. So with that being said, number 16. Number 16, the New York Giants select Jermaine Johnson II, edge Florida State. So with the trade, the Giants still select their edge that they need from Florida State, Jermaine Johnson. And I really love this pick if this happens from the trade that they traded with the Saints. So if this happens, I think both teams will be happy with their trade and their selection. With that being said, number 17, the LA Chargers select Jordan Davis to help on that defensive line out of Georgia because that division is crazy with all the pass rushers and linebackers that they have. So they need as much as possible to help that defense. With that being said, number 18 is Philadelphia Eagles selected Andrew Booth Jr., cornerback, Clemson. When I was doing this, I couldn't tell if I wanted to select Andrew Booth Jr. here or go ahead and get Derek Stingley Jr. But again, with that injury that Derek Stingley Jr. got, the Eagles are still scared that he might not be ready to actually compete. So with that being said, I just went with Andrew Booth Jr. here out of Clemson with their number 18th pick. So with that being said, number 19 is the New Orleans Saints. They traded back from the Eagles, get their next wide receiver, Jameson Williams, wide receiver, Alabama. And if they get Malik Willis and wide receiver Jermaine Williams, I think that'll be a great draft because they're in need of their next franchise quarterback and they need another top wide receiver. Although their Michael Thomas is coming back, so hopefully he don't get hurt and he can actually play the whole year, and maybe he can come back and he can come back and do really good and be a top wide receiver like he used to be. With that being said, number 20th, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Raymond tackle out of Central Michigan. You might think Steelers might go quarterback, but they just traded for did they trade for? I can't remember if they traded for him or not. I think he was a free agent. They signed Mitch Trubisky, quarterback that played for the Bears, but was in Buffalo last year. So they have three quarterbacks that they have to decide which is going to be their quarterback. If one is going to be the quarterback, they could draft one in the future. Um, with that being said, number 21, I got the New England Patriots selecting Nakobe Dean, linebacker, Georgia. Yeah, the Patriots, they could go cornerback or wide receiver. I got them picking linebacker Nakobe Dean at this point. With that being said, number 22, I got the Green Bay Packers selecting Treylon Burks, wide receiver, Arkansas. Yeah, they need to get their next franchise wide receiver, so I selected them to get their next franchise wide receiver here with Treylon Burks. We all know Davante Adams is no longer there, and Green Bay is mostly known as passing on wide receivers in the first round, and Aaron Rodgers does not like it. So they actually listened to Aaron Rodgers this time and go get their next franchise wide receiver. With that being said, number 23, I got the Arizona Cardinals selecting Tyler Linderbaum, center out of Iowa. The Cardinals, they just needed their O-line. Needed an O-line, and this one was like the best one available with the center. This could help Kyler Murray from being pressured so much. So with that being said, number 24, I got the Dallas Cowboys selecting Zion Johnson, guard out of Boston College. I'm not really sure about this pick though, because the Cowboys do need some more defense now, because they got rid of Randy Gregory. I can't say they got rid of. The Broncos stole him from the Cowboys. So they do have a hole there. I mean, they still got Michael Parsons. But they could go defense instead of a guard. But I have a guard here, so. With that being said, number 25, I have the Buffalo Bills trading with the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs gives the Bills the number 30th, a 94, number 94, and a 5th rounder next year for the Bills' 25th pick. And the Chiefs select Derek Stingley Jr., cornerback, LSU. I like this because, yeah, the Chiefs are in need of a new cornerback, but they don't really need to play Derek Stingley right away, because they still have some players that could do the job, but not like well. But with Derek Stingley Jr. having the injury, they can sit him for a little bit to make sure he's actually healthy, and then he can come out and do what he did in college. With that being said, number 26 is the Tennessee Titans selecting George Karlaftis, edge out of Purdue. We'll see if Tennessee, I don't know when they're looking to get a next quarterback. Who knows how long they're going to keep shoot, I just forget the Tennessee Titans quarterback. I forget who's playing for them. Ryan Tannehill. I don't know how long they'll keep him, but in the future they could be selecting a cornerback to replace him, or they might do it in the second round. There are still some quarterbacks that could go late, but I got them beefing up their defense with George Karlaftis, edge Purdue. And with that being said, number 27, I got Tampa Bay selecting Kenyon Green, guard out of Texas A&M. Yeah, they're in need of guard, so this one's the best one available. So I don't see why they would pass on him. He's actually a really good player. So Tampa Bay selects their next guard, Kenyon Green. And with that being said, number 28, the Green Bay Packers select tackle Trevor Penning, Northern Iowa. They need a tackle. They go to help that offensive line with this beast right here, Trevor Penning, out of Northern Iowa, to help Aaron Rodgers. So right now, the Packers got a good draft going on. With the first round selected Trayvon Burks, wide receiver, and then selecting their tackle that they need. With that being said, number 29, the New York Jets selecting wide receiver Jahan Dotson. They traded back with the Chiefs, and they get another wide receiver to help Corey Davis, Elijah Moore, that they selected last year in the draft. I do like this pick though, because they select the safety first, Ahmad Gardner, and then they go wide receiver here, the two biggest needs that they have. So I like this a lot. With that being said, number 30th, I got the Buffalo Bills selecting Devin Lloyd, linebacker out of Utah. I know they just signed Von Miller to a 6-year, $120 million deal, but I think this is just best player available. So they go and beef up that defense, because they do need to beef up the defense, because there's this team that always beats them in the playoffs, Kansas City Chiefs. So they're trying to build to keep playing great and get to the playoffs, and then to take down Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs, because they always get to the playoffs, but they can't pass Patrick Mahomes. With that being said, number 31st is the Bengals selecting their cornerback. Oh, I forget how do you pronounce his name. Ka'Lavon Alarm. That is not how you say his name. I apologize. Ka'Lavon Elam. I think my mistake. I do not remember how to pronounce this dude's name. But they go cornerback out of Florida. They need one that's not Eli Apple, who just kept letting the Rams run all over them last year in the Super Bowl. So they select their next cornerback out of Florida. With that being said, number 32 is Detroit Lions selecting Lewis Cine, safety, Georgia. They need to build up their defense, and I think they'll do it right here with the safety out of Georgia. Yeah, let's see if this kid can pick off Aaron Rodgers. So that pretty much wraps up the video. So please smash that subscribe button. Don't forget to go follow the Twitter. It has all kinds of juicy NFL content on there. So go follow it, smash the like button, and hit the subscribe button. And with that being said, I'll see you again on the next King Sports video. And with that being said, King Sports is out.